Josh writes in, he says in Exodus, by the way, these are all old emails that I pulled out of the archives that we never got to. Josh says, in Exodus 34 and 39, it indicates that the Israelites traveled for a while with their unleavened dough and then baked unleavened cakes of the dough that they had brought out of Egypt, ESV. My question is, why is this time frame shown here in Exodus for the baking of matzah not used as the standard? General consensus seems to be that chametz occurs rapidly and matzah should be made quickly.
Yeah, that's a rabbinic.
Yeah, it's rabbinic.
Rabbinic, yeah.
But Exodus 12 states there was a significant time span between making the dough and then baking it. Any insight you have on this would be appreciated. Once again, I take a different view than this. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go?
Well, I'll go first.
You go.
I think you went first.
Go.
I just think the rabbis have created an expectation based on the gematria of chai, which is 18 minutes of water mixed with flour invalidates this from being kosher leaven kosher matzah.
Right.
And I think that's, I'm someone who's tried many times to create a sourdough starter from scratch. Right. It ain't easy. You have to have certain temperature. You have to have exposure to air. It's not easy to create your own starter. At least in my experience, I've tried it many times. Okay. So, and even when I finally got a starter going, the bread never really happened. Right. I mean, so I just read these passages. This was dough. In other words, it was flour that had water in it, but it was wrapped up or something. It just wasn't. What they're talking about is, it wasn't leavened. I mean, you gotta set it out. It's got to be warm. There's all these conditions. You got to beat it down, and you got to really work that to get that leaven going.
You had to have a sourdough starter. You had to have a starter.
Yeah, and the starter isn't easy to make. It can be done, obviously, but. In my view, and then I'll just hand it back to you, is that the rabbis have again tried to hijack and rebrand a quote authoritative procedure that they then say they sprinkle. We got this from Moses at Sinai, and if you don't do it our way, you're out. Kind of bully attitude.
Yeah.
Right. And then people think that, oh, wow, water and flour creates leaven right away. Oh, and then there's a little fear. There's a little sting that's I got to do it the rabbi's way. And the person here, is it Josh, is right to point out, it's not exactly the same, but where if you read the rabbinic commentaries on, I think it's Genesis 18, where the three men come and he gives them milk and meat together. Yeah. And they're like, what do you do? Well, they say,
there had to be 4 hours between. Yeah.
He gave them the milk first and then they waited.
Yeah.
And then he brought. So it's kind of like one of those. Okay. That's my bit.
Okay. So, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think that, and we talked about this at length this last Passover, because I'll tell you where this started. We looked at some lists, okay, and of things that you're allowed to keep and things that you have to throw out. And I said, well, we have to get rid of all of our flour. And my wife said, well, if that's the case, we'll have to get rid of our matzah. It has flour in it. I said, yeah, that's true. So then this really sparked the conversation of, okay, well, what is leavened? And I said, initially, I don't care if something looks like it's leavened, because I think that the text itself, almost every time, except for one, I think, in all of the texts that talk about unleavened bread during Passover, it talks about unleavened bread as opposed to leavened bread. So I think the focus is on bread, okay? And so I said, I don't care if it, rice, why would I get rid of rice? Why would I get rid of, all these different things? And then we got into a whole conversation about noodles, because noodles don't have a leavening agent, right? They are just wheat and they're just flour and water, and then they just become soft. That's it. There's no leavening agent in them at all. and they're not bred. And so ultimately, we just said, look, we're going to take out the starters. We're going to take out anything that has a leavening agent in it, any kind of yeast agent in it. And that's what we're going to take out. And so we did. And I think that people with the standard view would say that we should now be cut off because we didn't take things out like noodles. We didn't take things out that we thought, some of the stuff that there were some things that we were a little bit iffy about. And, it's a work in progress. Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications. And we'll see you in the next video.